is what I wrote you about. So,
railing.
yes, this knob just spins, spins, spins.
Yeah.
If we get it in place, it stays about a day. That's about it.
And loosens back up.
Yes. Have you seen this before?
I have once in a while, but not a lot. But I think we can fix that pretty easy. Let me get some tools and we can get going on that.
Sounds good.
Now every stair in every house can be a little bit different. And all the pieces that you need to complete the railing and stuff are pretty standard and can be bought off the shelf. Like for example, you have a straight run here and an ending right here at the bottom and a different one at the top. Now how these end pieces are held to the straight railing is a mechanical fastener. And let me show you what I think you have here.
Okay.
It's actually called a railing bolt. So if you look at the threads right here, you can see two different threads, and that's a wood thread. And that thread is meant to go into the wood fiber and hold tight, just like a screw would when you drive a screw in. But this side right here is a machine thread, and that's to allow the nut to go up and down easy and really give it tension to pull the two pieces together.
Okay.
Now when you drill a hole for the machine thread, you drill a larger hole for two reasons. You want it to slide in, but you also want to have some adjustability with this so you can line them up, make them right, make it tight, and it'll stay into position. Then once it's tight, you want to hide that hole, so you just put a bung in there and the hole disappears.
Okay.
Now I could take over here and just tighten up that nut really tight, and it probably won't loosen. But I want to do one more thing to make sure that it doesn't turn.
Sounds good.
All right, so let me take it off. Luckily that's not glued in. That's actually a tapered bung, so it fits nice and tight. I just unscrew the nut. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement off of this, and I'm going to find the center at the thick part, which would be 1 1/8. Put a little mark. Yeah, and then I'm just going to measure down, let's say 3/8 of an inch. Now I want to drill a starter hole. Okay, good. Now I'll take an 8-penny finish nail, put it in the hole, drive it in. That's good. Okay.
How do you get that into that side of the railing?
Well, I'm going to cut the head of the nail off and make a point on this end. I don't need much, okay? So now what I got to find that measurement and transfer it over there so I'll have a little hole to guide my nail in.
Okay.
So now I'll find the center this way, 1 1/8. Come down from the top, 3/8. Drill a little hole.
That's it?
That's it. Just need a little guidance right there. Make sure I'm set and lined up. Let's see how that fits. Good, that lines up nice. All right, now before I make the final connection, I'm going to use some glue on the machine thread that will hold the nut so it won't back off once we tighten it, and a little bit of glue on the end grain of the railing. Okay, so now we have the tricky part. We have to put the washer on. I have to get the nut in there. We got to try to line it up with the hole. I got to get it into position so we can then turn the nut onto the thread. I'll hold it here. Can you see if you can just spin that nut down just a little bit? Does it grab? Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. Okay, we're on the thread. I'll take it from here. So now I turn it around, put the pin in the hole, tighten up the nut a little bit. Good. Now just put the bung in the hole, and we're done. All right, your railing is on. If you want to give it a try there, see how nice and tight that is.
Yeah, it feels great.
All right, so that's not going to go anywhere. You should be all set.
Thank you for coming out.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could help.
Love it, Tommy. Simple fix, but if you've got a loose railing, it'll drive you crazy.
It'll drive you crazy, but it's not safe. You don't want any loose parts on the stairway.
And there's a lot of parts on some staircases. That's a very simple one, but I mean, there's all different sorts of things that can be connected.
And you can buy these off the shelf at the home center. I mean, that's the end that we had downstairs. Here's the end that we had up on the second floor. And let's say you have a landing or a stairway that's a turn. You can have that into your newel post. Or you're coming from a newel post on the second floor and you want to go down the stairs. This is a drop.
Yep.
Okay?
And so you want them tight, but you also want them hidden. You do not want to see that fastener.
Absolutely. And there's all kinds of fasteners out there. This is one that's a little bit different than the one we use. It's actually 2 springs that screw together.
Really?
All right? And in the bottom of the spring, there's a screw that screws into the railing.
So that secures it to one side and secures the other side?
Once you put the 2 pieces in there, you drop this metal dowel in there, and you just screw it together.
Check that out. Would you put a drop of glue on there?
I would absolutely put a drop of glue in there because you want it to make sure it stays there.
So as those springs engage each other, it just gets tighter and tighter.
Yeah, just keep making it tight, and then when you're done, that glue will hold it.
That is awesome. But the key is that those opposing holes are perfectly lined up.
Right, and the trick to making sure that the holes are lined up is a simple little template like this. You take a section of the railing and you maybe cut it a 1/2 to 3/8 of an inch thick. And I put an X on one and I put an X on the railing that I'm going to drill into. I drop them on, I drill a pilot hole, then I drill my big hole. On the other piece without the X, I use the side without the X. Line them up, and now that hole will be positioned exactly right with that hole.
That is a great little trick, and you were full of them. Great information. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.